Welcome back. We were talking earlier about talent development. We'd like to continue to Datuk Vinod. We had a question from our audience. The Shekar Foundation under the Petra Group has funded a wide range of educational and charitable causes in the country, but it's not been very widely publicized. So is this something intentional?
Must ask the Star newspaper that. I guess it's a difficult thing to do, you know. You're doing charity, you're trying to do it for the right reasons, and then at the same time, you know, you cheapen it if you try and get too much publicity or you try and make it about publicity. Yeah. At the same time, if you want to keep doing it, you need to make money, you need to enhance the brand reputation of your company, so you need to get the publicity. So it's a balance we've tried to try and reach, and I think what we've decided to do is to go ahead and do our program, and if the recipients require or need the publicity for it, we let them go ahead and do it. Right. And then if we can support it, then we're there. Okay. But what we've decided to do is not to go out and seek it.
Not intentional.
Not intentionally go out and seek it. And it's worked for us. I mean, you know, most people are surprised at the amount we've done, and we continue to do, which in a way is also good. At the same time, I don't want to say that publicity is wrong. Mm. I think if corporations who are donating money donate it, and also because they need to enhance their brand, it's a good reason for publicity. It allows them to give more. It allows them to, you know, increase their profitability down the line, and therefore keep giving more. Right. So it's a balance in everything. In our case, because 60% of our entire group is owned by the foundation, and you know, we find it easier just to do it without too much, you know, fanfare. It's not to say that we don't want the fanfare, you know, but I think we'll just accept it if it comes and not mind too much if it doesn't. Yeah,
good, great. Hoon Peow, as principal of KBU International College, right now, what do you think is your greatest challenge to drive your students to be high achievers in their own fields?
I think it depends on what you mean by high achiever. Is it just academically? But if it's just academically, I think it's not much a big challenge for us. I think we have good lecturers, we have the facilities. I think we can do it. From the track record, I think we have achieved quite a lot in the past. For example, like last year, 30 of our graduates got first class honors in their degree. And one of our students become one of the best 20 students in the world in A-level. And he got into Oxford to read economics and management. So I think that is possible. I think what is more challenging is to make our students a high achiever in life. I think for a person to be a high achiever in life, they need more other a mixture or combinations of more qualities than being intelligent and knowledgeable. I think a lot of other qualities come into play, for example, like self-confidence, people skill, courage, you know, determination, and all these qualities is difficult to develop. And I think as an educator, we need to create that environment to nurture the young generation to acquire these qualities. And we must also train them and help them to make good use of or how they can put all these qualities together to produce good results. And you see, in higher education, colleges and universities get all the blames for many bad things, you know, unemployed graduates and all that, because we are at the receiving end. Because this training of all these qualities come from very young, from family education to primary to secondary, and then we are the last stop. So we are receiving the product of whatever, you know, that's been produced in the system before us, and we are more of like trying to remedy the situation, you know, trying to fix things. So I think that will be the biggest challenge. I happen to have some experience in secondary level, which that's why it makes me, you know, secondary is in the middle, so I sort of like understand this more, I think.
Right. Okay. It's an interesting thing that you're touching on in terms of the qualities. As I understand, Roshan, you're very much into leadership development for cradle to grave concept, so you touch a lot on this in organizations with youth and all. Yep. So since everyone is talking about leadership, how do you define leadership in your own point, and why is it so important right now in this economic crunch?
Yep. I have a very strange definition of leadership in the sense that many people say leadership is about certain traits, or it's about specific, so leaders have to be, Jack Welch says it's about the 4E, you've got this, you've got that, everybody has this trait-based thing. But I look at leadership and say it's really about decision making. Because a leader needs to, and I look at two extremes. A leader needs to be humble, and you've seen that, but at the same time they need to be assertive, which is an opposite. A leader needs to be big picture, but they need to get into the details. A leader needs to talk, but yet listen. A leader, and you can take all the traits and look at it in two very broad extremes and say it's not about knowing how to be humble or knowing how to speak. It's about knowing when to speak. And so leadership is about, okay, when do I do this? When should I shut up and listen? And when should I speak? And we talk about social problems. Our kids, I feel the problem with a lot of our youth these days is it's a leadership issue. They speak when they should shut up, and they talk when they should listen. And so it's leadership in my books is really about knowing when to. And teaching them when to really is about experiencing. So the more times you fail, the more times you fall, the more you learn how to ride the bike correctly. Likewise it is with leadership. The more times yeah, I tried being humble, but what I should have done is being a bit more assertive at that point in time. But in another situation, I should have been humble. So in my books, leadership is really about decision making rather than the trait in itself. Now, the trait is important, but knowing when to use it is much more important.
Okay. And with regards to the economic crunch right now, so what do you think?
It's going to be differing for different people. Some are opportunistic, like the folks here. Okay, be like vultures. If you have cash, go. But at the same time, you want to, for others, you say, look, I don't have the cash. What do I do? There's still opportunities out there. There's opportunities. I mean, personally, there's opportunity. Like I said before, there's opportunities to learn. You're retrenched. Oh, so what? I've never been given, a couple of months to sit back and have time on my own hands. Hey, use this time to learn, to develop, to grow yourself, to invest in some things you've never learned in a hobby. It's really about diversifying yourself. So in my books, regardless of when the timing is, there's always an opportunity to do something to yourself, to develop yourself. Because if at the heart of it, if you keep growing yourself, ultimately when the opportunity opens itself, there's ways to leverage it. If you do not, then even if you're Bill Gates and IBM gives you the opportunity to do programming, if you haven't gone through the 10,000 hours of programming when you're a kid, when the opportunity presents itself, you're not be able to come up with the programming language that ultimately yields billions of dollars in a number of years because you didn't put in that whole experience or that whole practice to get to that point.
Okay, that's great advice, especially for young people now coming up. Yeah, so we are going to take a quick break. So we're here with conjunction with the Trade and Career Fair. We'll see you after the break.